Do you see the same numbers everywhere you go?
I speak of a red calf, and at that moment, a red calf comes here. The Rice experiment proves that these cases are not mere chance.
These synchronicities are your way into lucid living, which is lucid dreaming while you are awake. And in this video, I'll explain how the latest brain science shows this connection between lucid dreaming and lucid living. Then we will look at how social media algorithms create an artificial version of that. Then I'll share my own story with cosmic synchronicity. And then we'll talk about my top 3 techniques so you can upgrade your days into lucid dreaming like magic. We in the globalized West live in what's called a monophasic culture.
Post-French Enlightenment, scientific materialism, those kind of things, we went to a super monophasic culture, which was just 5 senses. Waking state reality was the only thing that was quote unquote true.
And compare this boring, monotone experience to what is called a polyphasic culture.
Around the world, indigenous cultures have always been polyphasic, which is just the anthropological term for like multiple states of consciousness: dreams, visions, possessions, trance states, right? Ritual states. They all treated them as valid streams of information.
And thank God, science is, as always, a bit slow, but it's catching up and showing us how close together waking and dreaming life actually are. Brain networks are this revolutionary new discovery in brain science, because now we're not looking at individual trees anymore, but the whole forest. And specific brain areas like the center for speech or memory are the individual trees, and the connection between these trees, they are the brain networks. And brain scans do show how our minds work almost the same, whether we're dreaming or awake.
Right now, those of you who are paying attention to what I'm saying, your executive control network is engaged. Your executive control network being a frontal parietal control network and a dorsal attention network, with your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex being the main hub. So when we are alert, paying attention, listening, focused on our external environment, this network is engaged.
And for us dreamers, the default mode network, which handles future thinking, mental simulation, taking perspectives, and mind wandering, is the most important one, because this is the one that fires in both dreaming and waking life. And this makes perfect sense, because both in dreams and in waking life, our brain, together with us as spirits, creates the reality we perceive. And in quantum physics, this is known as
the observer effect, the scientifically proven phenomenon that particles exist in all possible states simultaneously until observed. The act of observation collapses the wave function into a single reality. Think about that for a second. Your observation, your consciousness, is literally selecting which version of reality manifests.
And if you don't believe me, try this quick exercise. Take a random object, I have a sleeping mask, and talk about it positively, negatively, and neutrally. I'll show you how you can do it. I really like the dark blue color. It reminds me of the night sky. I like the fabric. It looks great. Yeah, I just love to wear it. Yeah, I guess it's okay. The color is, it's not my favorite color, but I like it. It's okay. It doesn't feel bad. I think it does its job. Man, look at that thing. I think it's not real silk. I don't like the plastic used in here. The color is super boring, monotone. So did you see how my attitude, how I look at it, completely changes? And with that also the thing changes. Just the way I talk about it. And to really understand it, you just have to do it yourself. And it's easy, take any object and just do it. But we're not the only ones who create reality. There's also this bigger intelligence. Some call it the universe, others call it God. It has many names. And this intelligence is orchestrating events for us in our life to connect us to different places, different people, to really move our life forward. And Carl Jung recognized this connection making as synchronicities, meaningful coincidences connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning. Or that song playing exactly when you need it, as if the words in it talk directly to you, to your soul, to your heart. And this is lucid living. And when you start to recognize these patterns, these little messages, and start to act on them, then life really changes. And reality becomes less rigid and more like this dreamy, flowy state of being. And today we have big tech companies, and they also want to play a bit God. So they created algorithms, our modern day magic. And the tech companies want to get us into a flow state, which is like dreaming. And when we wake up from our algorithm-induced hypnosis, we wonder, where did all these hours go? And did you ever talk about something with your friend, your phone sitting silently next to you? And the next moment you see many, many ads about the exact thing you were talking about. And that's artificial synchronicity. Or you watch a video and then you're recommended this almost same video over and over. That's also artificial synchronicity. I don't like it. It's annoying. And I think it's far from the real magic of true synchronicities. And this is the big problem. It also adds to this information overload that we suffer from in our modern world, because we don't have to go like our ancestors into the forest for 4 days and wait for a sign from something. No, we just go out into the city and there are thousands of these like little signs or online trying to capture our attention. So our challenge is to reject most of them and just take what's meant for us. But sometimes the algorithm makes real magic. And it's also part of my story with synchronicity, which started with weeks of pain in my lower belly and feeling bloated, which usually started in the late afternoon and destroyed any evening plans I would make. So I tried cutting down on my desserts and I switched over to sourdough bread, but it really didn't work and the bloating stayed. So a few weeks into my problems with that, my coaching client Jonas, he shared with me that he will start this anti-candida diet. And candida is this yeast-like fungi, which is a natural part of our digestive system. But if we eat too much candy, pasta, pizza, and other grains that turn into sugar when we eat and digest them, it starts causing all kinds of problems. And when Jonas told me about his diet, I just thought, oh damn. Because I knew immediately that it's a sign to me from the universe that I should start it also. But come on, I was not ready to go like 0 sugar everywhere. So I didn't start and the bloating continued. But the good thing is the universal intelligence never stops trying to deliver a message to you. And it has many different ways of bringing it to you. So a few weeks later, over 2 or 3 days, the Twitter algorithm presented to me a few interesting posts about the cosmic connection even of good gut bacteria, and also about how citric acid, a very common food additive, is actually made from black mold, which made me really like, oh. So the universe really escalated the meaning of good gut bacteria to me into cosmic proportions even. And all of this created a very strong cocktail of signals to me. And if we are to believe this author, each illness itself has also a specific meaning or message for us that we should better listen to. So this is important. Please remember it the next time you're sick with something. Anyways, I committed and started the diet. And not having this pain anymore is definitely worth the sugar cravings that still come up here and there. And before we look into the techniques to work with synchronicities, let's try to understand what the universe was doing to me, so you also better understand how you can work with your own messages. So it didn't send someone to my door handing me a letter that stated, "Dear Christoph, this is a message from the universe. we would like you to cut down on your sugar consumption drastically and bring it to 0. No, it sent different messages, but around a similar topic, like gut health, cosmic frequencies, and mold. Because it knows I really like that stuff recently. It's really interesting to me. So this created this net of meaning around me, which really triggered my attention until I knew exactly what I just had to do. And this is the first technique. Walk with open eyes and ears through the world. Really see and listen what's going on. Because the people we pass by on the street and we only hear 2 words from their conversation, this could be a message to us. And as you walk through your day, see if there's something that captures your interest just a little bit more, that looks a bit more interesting, a bit more alive to you. And the Greeks even had a word for it. They called it aesthesis. And aesthetics, our word for beauty, comes from this aesthesis, which means to breathe in, to inhale, to get inspiration. So I look at something and maybe I have this a little bit stronger than usual inhale. And this can be a strong sign from the universe, because the universe wants to talk to us. We just have to be open to it. For example, I should have listened to my friend Felix when he told me in 2012 about this online currency that he was investing in, which we know nowadays as Bitcoin, but I did not listen. And understanding these messages is a bit like a puzzle or a dream. We have to work a bit to get the meaning. And I personally start paying attention to things if I hear them like 2 or 3 times. Then my inner alarm bell goes off and I'm like, okay, could this be interesting? Does this make sense to me right now in my life? Is this connected to anything that's going on for me? So here are 2 techniques to help you with that. I want you to write everything that happens to you during the day down. So consider it like a dream journal, but just for the day. And please try to write by hand if you can, because this is connecting our left and right brain. And writing is also like vacuuming our brain. It's a mental diet. And while writing, you turn into a magnet for new ideas, which help you to understand the messages from the universe to you. And just write. Imagine that someone pays you for every word that you're writing. And it's true, because you're paying yourself and your future self. You're adding value to yourself by writing. And don't censor yourself. Just write every thought that pops up. Just write it down, see where it takes you. Does it bring you into a new direction? Does it stimulate then other thoughts? Just go for it. And if you're blocked, you can try this. What would the universe never ever mean by showing me this, by sending me this sign? So we are taking a kind of negative approach. And this can also lead to really interesting and fun insights. Here's an example. I've seen the color red quite a few times today. The universe would never ever tell me with this to take out a big credit, move to a sunny place and start a wine factory. And try to come up with several of these wild, unrealistic ideas to get your creative flow going. And you can also use the objects and events of your day and turn them into little dream stories that you make fully up. So it's like a dream journal, but you create the dream and you use the stuff that you come across during the day as material to create your stories. And why do we want to do that?
So in the creative process, what we have is now the brain networks are coordinated. Those networks that are involved in alert and waking are now turned on at the same time as dream and imagination. Executive control network, default mode network turned on at the same time.
And also read over the stuff you've written a few days or weeks ago, because sometimes it's 2 or 3 messages together that unlock the puzzle. And we only understand it a bit later. And if your mind and overthinking is a problem or troubling for you, try this. It's called becoming meditation. And it was first mentioned by Alexandra David Neal, who was the first Western woman that entered Tibet. while it was still forbidden. So you really try to become an object or a person that you've encountered during the day, and just take the one that resonated the most with you. And imagine you are the object or the person, you're sitting or standing in their place. You feel how much they weigh, like their body weight, their shape and form, and also the perspective they see everything from. So I could even try to become my hand, or like a finger on my hand, and see my whole body from the perspective of my finger. And Alexandra Neal, she writes in her book how a man did this meditation, and he was focusing on becoming a deer, and afterwards he could not pass through the door anymore because he has supposedly grown these antlers. And do this for 10 to 15 minutes to really incubate the state. Not all at once, but a minute here, a minute there. And then also do it before you go to sleep, because then you're incubating your dreams and you're again connecting dream and waking life a bit closer. And then also watch your dreams, because then what you input into your dreams from the day, the dreams take, mix it up, and give you a new message. And to learn more about another technique that brings you from waking life into a lucid dream-like state, watch my video on multiverse therapy. But beware, some people doing it ended up talking to fish, entering celestial rooms, or even hanging out with aliens. And you can just click here on this video and watch it. Bye.